I have here a spinning Quintain. Use this for kids jousting here at the castle. It's based on a piece of equipment you see in manuscripts in which young squires would practice jousting with a lance, either from a wooden horse, from foot, or from an actual horse. They'd hit it, it would spin around. A lot of people think that they would tie a bag of sand on the back in order, if you didn't hit it sufficiently, that this bag of sand would swing around and smack you in the back of the head. In having used it, that's not what it was for at all. The bag of sand was simply to add weight to it, to offer more resistance, which means you have to strike Quintain with more force, more concentrated force and strength to be able to get it to turn sufficiently. So it wasn't for that at all. One thing that I find interesting that I'm going to demonstrate here today, and I found it out quite by accident. It was a quiet day here at the castle once, and I decided to get some training in with some sword and shield or something, and I started striking the Quintain, and I found quite by accident it was a marvellous training tool for that sort of activity. And I was thinking, if I found that out quite by accident, and this is purely conjectural on my part, what are the chances that these martially minded people sitting around in castles didn't intentionally build it for that purpose, or, like myself, discover it accidentally, understanding that they're far more martially minded and military minded than what we are today. It's not a far stretch to determine that they may have used this on foot. Now, I have no evidence for that whatsoever. This is, as I say, purely conjectural on my part, but just made me wonder. I'm going to demonstrate. If you've ever done Kung Fu with a Wing Chun training dummy, it's similar in that, and I'm going to demonstrate how effective it is. Now, this is, I've used an old trolley wheel for a pivot, which is not terribly historical, but it does the job adequately enough, and it's fairly durable. It has to be durable when you get thousands of kids every year banging on this thing for fun. So I'll demonstrate slowly how effective a training tool this is. Okay, so and you can do lots of different things. So starting off in a position, we make a thrust, spins around, parry with the shield. If you don't parry with the shield and you're in too close after that thrust, it is going to come around and whack you in the face or the head. You can do other things, so you can simply strike. You might not necessarily want to put a shield on it. It could just be a bare arm. Strike, you can move around, parry, counter strike, pommel strike, thrust, miss. It's good for targeting. Shield strike, shield parry, strike. Move around the Quintain, so it actually gives you some cardiovascular workout depending on the intensity in which you want to go, which is very much similar to a Pel, and in fact you can also attack the centre as though it's a Pel, but then it has that swinging arm which can simulate attacks. The harder you hit it, the faster it spins around. Now granted, you know where it's going, so it's pretty easy to know. You have to throw a shield up or a sword up to be able to parry it. So it's fairly predictable where it's going to go, but this isn't trying to teach you how to defend against attacks, really. This is simply just trying to work on stamina, strength, muscle memory for all of those actions that you're actually going to use, so it becomes easier. So it's a form of drill in the same way that you would practice on a Pel. You can even attempt these sorts of things and direct where you want the Pel to go. So, or the Quintain, they're calling it a Pel, same sort of thing really, but with the dynamic of the swinging arm, it just gives it a little bit more versatility in its use as a training tool. So I hope you've got something out of that. You can use any kind of, you can do foot lance with it, you can use any kind of weapon. If you want to add a degree of difficulty, and if you have a robust Quintain, or if you have extra arms on standby, you can actually tie a bag of sand and you can give it some massive whacks, and it actually offers some really good resistance in getting it to move and turn around, and actually gives you good workout and good muscle memory, as I mentioned, and builds up strength and endurance. For an extra bit of added challenge, have two people working it, so one on either side, and you're hitting it back, sort of like one of those kids' lawn tennis games where they hit it around. But obviously there's a little bit more care and practice you need to take in that. Maybe you want to wear some sort of protection, gauntlets, Quintain, and maybe a helm or something, just in case, because it can spin around. But it's a lot of fun. It's a great training tool, and I'd be interested to hear what other people think, if other people have seen something perhaps I haven't seen of people using it on foot. I mentioned this some years ago once, and it actually caused quite a bit of contention in jousting circles at the time, because they were adamant that it was purely for joust training and nothing else. And my theory that it could have been used for foot training, certainly has the potential of being used for foot training, was generally not well accepted. But I'd love to hear what other people think on the matter. If you've built one yourself, if you've trained with one, or if you'd like to, and if there's any other questions or tips or anything at all you want to ask about what you've seen me do in this video, feel free to comment or send me a personal message, and I'll send you information. This particular Quintain, that's hardwood. This is just a pine copper log, because it doesn't take much of a hit. You can set it up so you can make it taller if you want, you can make it lower, you can put a couple of arms on it if you wanted. Just keep in mind that there's no historical basis for multiple arm spinning Quintains, but have fun with it, and I'd love to hear what you think, and if you've been training with it, and how it's helped you in your medieval martial arts. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you next time.